should expend my energies in launching what I hope will be a successful career in the entertainment business. I feel my new career will be the greatest challenge in my life. Therefore, I do officially relinquish my title as Miss America 1984 to the Miss America pageant.
That is Vanessa Williams, who many of our younger viewers know only as an award-winning singer and actress. But back in 1984, she gained world fame as the first African-American to be crowned Miss America. Controversy cost her the title, but not her fame, which only continued to grow after that.
That's not an easy thing to do. The man standing next to her in that video helped her do that. Ramon Hervey II was Vanessa Williams' publicist at the time. His new book is The Fame Game, an insider's playbook for earning your 15 minutes. Good morning, Ramon. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning to both of you. It's a pleasure to be on the show. Thank you for inviting me.
I think the end of that title speaks more to our viewers who may be looking for their first 15 minutes from social media or what have you. Is that something you can force? Does it happen by accident? What's the first step?
The first step, I think, is to understand that fame is not a destination. It's an accolade. So in my book, I really talk about the fact that there's I just share my philosophical approach to fame, and I believe that it's not a destination. So for young people who are on social media and thinking that they're going to be successful from posting their pictures and stuff, I'm not encouraging them to invest all their time and energy in believing that that's the path to fame. I think that I have some tenets in the book. I have like 13 tenets of fame. And one is don't obsess with fame, obsess with being the best that you can be. And I think that success is more important than fame. If you don't work hard and you become successful at something, then it's very unlikely you're going to be famous.
Right, because of all the people that use, 2 billion YouTube users, less than 1% become these influencers, yet every kid thinks they're going to get famous. But the ones who stand out are doing something unique, right? And they're doing something that they might be the best at. Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, I think that 1%, it's funny, and a lot of people don't actually know that, but I did research, and it is less than 1%. And actually, the amount of famous people in the world is less than 1%. I did some research, and there was a mathematician, his last name is Arbsman, and he came up with a formula that basically said that of this over 7 billion people living in the world today, there's 0.00086 that are considered famous.
So let's say, to your point, that someone is doing something well and is achieving some level of fame because of that. I would think that sometimes that can go bad. So how do you navigate that path of fame to keep things more positive?
Crisis management is unpredictable, and you have to do it on a case-by-case basis. I think that the misnomer about fame is that there is one path, and there is no one path. If there was, that's what I would be selling. There's no holistic vitamins or exercise or anything you can do to become famous. And in all of my years as a publicist and a manager, I didn't find one client from Bette Midler to Richard Pryor to Quincy Jones, Rick James, Vanessa. Everyone took a different path. So you really have to identify what works best for you. And I'm in favor of social media. I think it's great that people are getting an opportunity to use their voice. And to build, careers, to be entrepreneurs, basically. That's what social media platforms allow you to do. They allow you to be an entrepreneur. And then if you know how to manage it, well, then you can have sustainability. Another thing that the 15 minutes, I use that as a mantra. It was originally a statement made by Andy Warhol, but I believe that you get, some people get 5 minutes. If they only get 5, it's not going to, change the needle, push the needle that much. If you get 10, you can be steady, but you're probably not that famous. If you get 15 and you have a great team around you and you can manage it well, then it can be sustainable and you can stretch it into a career.
Well, Ramon, it's been a pleasure to meet you and talk to you. The book is The Fame Game, an insider's playbook for earning your 15 minutes. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm actually was born in Chicago, so it was a pleasure.
All right.
Pleasure to talk to you. Take care.
All right, take care.